Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Niab Talks About Stuff that he really likes to talk about just for fun because I don't know, I really like talking about this shit. If you don't know what these types of videos are, check the Baki video, I'll leave a card up here. Right? These are just videos overall where I just talk about stuff that I enjoy, that I just want to speak about, that I want to rant about, whatever it may be. I just make these sometimes when I really feel attached to a certain topic, whatever it may be, right? Whether it's a series or just something from a series, whatever it is. I like doing this sometimes, and I felt like doing it today. There's also another series that I want to do it on that I mentioned in the first episode of the podcast on the channel, which, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, here's another card, because that's pretty great. It's me and my brother just talking about different stuff. We're doing overall an episode every week. It might be bi-weekly sometimes due to certain circumstances of what we may have to talk about and stuff like that, right? We may not have all of what we want to talk about, but who cares about all that right now? Because we're talking about, well, it should be obvious by the title and thumbnail, but there's something to discuss here. Now, of course, the main thing with the channel right now is I'm supposed to be doing this right here, because I gotta do this and arc 7 of this, right? I'm working on that, don't worry, right? Definitely reading through this. Enjoying it so far, can't wait to get more into it, as well as, eventually getting through arc 7, that's going to be fun. But, I should be doing this. And I was. But a certain Saturday happened, and, well, that changed what I was doing from this to, this. So let me just give some small context to the scenario. I knew about the Spy Family series for over a year now, and much like ReZero, I had actually planned for a year to get into it at some point. I'm like, you know what? That's on my list of things to get into. I had heard a YouTuber talk about it, right? And I was like, oh, well, that sounds like an interesting series. I feel like I would like that. I'll get into that at some point. And it took a whole last year to get into it, and much like ReZero, there was a push, right? With ReZero, it was my friends watching it, I joined in, then I watched all of that, right? And I, started reading for the series where essentially where we're at now, all that, right? Much like that, Spy Family was a series where, it was for a whole last year. It was just on my, I'm gonna watch that eventually. And then they announced the anime adaptation, and I said to myself, oh, I'm gonna read it before the anime adaptation. I did not do that. We got episode 1 of the anime adaptation, I watched it, I loved it, and then I started reading it, and I got decently far. At this point, I think I'm at chapter 27 or something, which doesn't sound like a whole lot until you consider that there's 60 chapters, and also every chapter is 50 pages long. It's a lot, right? So honestly, it sounds like not a lot, but I've spent a few hours going through this, and it's a really enjoyable series. I have genuinely never really laughed as hard with a series as I have with this, right? I've laughed at different series here and there, right? I've had a good time, but I don't think I've ever had a moment with a series multiple times where I had to stop what I was doing, whether I was reading it or watching it, because I was laughing so hard I could not pay attention. This series is really fucking great. First of all, its characters are really endearing, I almost want to say, right? Because all of them are real great in their own way, and in terms of just comedy value out of them, they all have something that makes them really fucking funny. Lloyd's great, Yor's great, Anya I'll get to in a minute. And pretty much everybody they introduce, all these new characters, all characters who return here and there, they all have their own great moments and everything, and there is a decent story being told here, right? It's nothing huge in terms of a story, but it's definitely something that's wow, even though it's really simple, there's a lot that's good here, and these characters feel like they have some actual weight to them, right? They feel like there's something to their past, they feel like there's actual dramatic moments with them that feel tense and everything, right? Not as tense as other series, of course, but there is moments where it does feel ooh, right, it's real gripping. And it's kind of great that you get that blend with like the comedy, and also an overall like wholesome type of feel to it, because it does feel like a nice series a lot of the time. These characters do feel like they are a family, right? It feels like a whole proper family, and especially the part of that is Anya, because I think she quite literally might be the best part of this whole show, and I feel like a lot of people would just agree with that. She is a character who is really fucking well done, because she acts like a child but also acts like quote unquote super smart, but like also, you know, done like a child would be, but also really funny half the time because of how smug she may be or because of her ability and all that, right? To give some context, she's a child who has the ability of telepathy, so she can read minds. Her fake father, you know, the father who adopted her, being a spy known as Twilight, but I mean, the name he has, overall the fake name, is Lloyd Forger, like the Forger family, essentially, right? Which I feel like is a play on, you know, forging stuff, all that, right? I feel like that's the play there. But then there's also her mother, you know, fake mother, who is named Your Forger, and her entire thing is that she's an assassin, right? So it's this big thing of like, these two are killers, and here's a child who has telepathy and like is an actual child. But she's excited by this. She loves this shit, right? She loves that her family's exciting because she loves watching her like spy TV shows and all this. And I'm not gonna go into further details of what happens later down the line, because if you haven't seen it yet, first of all, I would highly suggest you watch it or read it, I guess. Depending on what seems better to you. It is still getting adapted, so you might have to wait. But it's really fucking good. I highly suggest it, especially if you like some really funny shit. I highly suggest it. But of course, I'm not going to go into later stuff just to not spoil. But it's insane how like well Anya's done as a character, because she's a character who's really fucking funny, and part of that is due to the fact that like, even though she has the ability of telepathy, she's still a dumb child. Like, she still acts like a child who isn't the smartest and everything, and like still does like cute shit or stuff like that. Like, wait, acts like a child, like she doesn't want to study all this, right? There's a whole lot of moments where it's just like, it's a really dumb thing, but it's like she's acting all smug about it or whatever it may be, right? There's a whole bunch of shit like that, which I really like, because I feel like when a character is like, you know, a child and they have some sort of ability like this, something along those lines, a lot of the time it isn't taken into account that this character is super young, right? And that their brain isn't like super developed. A lot of the time it's really just, hey, here's a kid, now we're gonna focus on their ability, but we focus on their ability so much that we don't actually focus on the fact that they're a child and they will act certain ways, right? This, though, makes it feel like, yeah, here's Anya, she can read minds, and this does have an effect on certain things, right? But it more so focuses on the fact that this is still a child. They're still kind of dumb and, like curious about the world and all this shit, right? Like, I really like that she's still done like that, because it does make her a fantastic character. It makes her really good, and actually makes it for some super insanely funny moments throughout the series. Like, it's, I think 70% of what I really did enjoy was just the moments that she had with other characters, with herself, all that, right? She feels really well done as a character. Of course, I still love all the other characters. I think they're all really fucking good and well done. Yor has some really fucking good moments. Lloyd, I feel like out of the main three, he might not have the funniest, or at least out of what I've seen, he doesn't have the funniest stuff, but he still has some really great stuff in there. I still think he's still good. And he does still have funny stuff in there. It's just out of, you know, the main three, he has the least of it, I'd say. But yeah, overall, like, it's a really fucking good series. The fact that I was, you know, reading through the EX novels and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a slight break for a moment because I need to eat, and I'm not super huge on just reading while eating. It's just a thing, and I feel I'm not huge on that. And the fact that I took a break just to be like, okay, I'm going to eat, and then, you know, watch the first episode of this, just to get a feel of what's to come. The fact that I watched that episode and immediately went, I'm not satisfied, I have to go like further, right? Because that really tells you how good a series is if I like go through it and I'm like, no, I'm not satisfied, I gotta keep going. That really tells you how good it is. This shit is insane. I'm excited to read more. I'm gonna wait though, because I want to get this shit finished for all of you, right? And then I'll get you all the big review. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna read a whole lot more. This shelf will be way more full later with other books. I actually did get the second volume, but it's gonna be here in about a month. So actually, it might be by the time that I, finish the EX novels in Arc 7. Yeah, that might be the time that it actually shows up here. But that's about it for this video, I guess. Just to mention as a side note, by the way, this type of video, I'm actually going to do this for Arc 7 because it's something I want to talk about there, right? So you're going to get another me talking about video, but it's going to be related to that. Just wanted to bring that up. And also to bring up about said Arc 7 video, I'm actually going to schedule that as a proper upload and not a premiere. I just want to say that beforehand just because I feel like there's a bit of a, similar to the what ifs, right? There's stuff I can talk about in there that isn't spoiler related, more so, the EX novels, right? I definitely want to give an almost a recap towards those to people who haven't seen it, right? Haven't viewed all that, but they want to know about it, and they don't want to be spoiled, of course, about the later stuff, right? So I think I'm going to actually just put it up as a proper video just to make things easier for people so they don't jump in, especially because Arc 7 is the most recent arc of ReZero, and also obvious reasons, right? But I kind of want to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, so I'm just going to schedule that as a proper upload. I'll let you all know when the time comes, right? I'll give you all the date, the time, everything. I'll put it in all time zones that I can, find, right? All the correct time zones, hopefully. Google's a little bit weird with that sometimes. But I'm going to do my best to just let you all know beforehand, and then once the video's up, it's up. You can all watch it, sit to watch later, whatever you may do with it, right? But yeah, just wanted to mention that. Also, third note, because I just want to say it, but I've said this a lot before, but I really want to just add on to it, because why not? I just want to say, thank you all for the, I'm going to say constant support of the videos, because I've noticed, ever since the Arc 6 video, we've gotten a decent bit of views per video and stuff, right? People, or per videos. People have been returning all that, right? It really does, warm my heart, because it as much as I'm totally cool with people being here for specific videos, like I said, right, in the past, I do really enjoy the people who will just, come onto the channel, view something, enjoy it a whole lot, and be like, you know what, I want to check out the other types of videos. I do enjoy that a whole lot, and part of the reason I do a lot of variety, on the channel, stuff like this, right, for example, is just because I want to appeal to everybody, right? I want to be able to get, a whole bunch of people in, because I don't really want to say, okay, I'm only going to focus on these people and not the others, right? Oh, fuck those other people or something, right? I want to be able to have everybody in here as a big community, and I like that a whole lot. So what I do really appreciate is when shit like this happens, where I see people coming in, viewing the new videos, liking the new videos, enjoying them, right? Making comments, all that stuff. I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you to all of you. I know I made an entire update video on that with the Arc 6 video, but I just wanted to say it again because I've noticed it more consistently now. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to have, of course, more podcasts and highlights as the weeks come. The Arc 7 video will be out eventually, right? Well, not eventually, but I'm going to say maximum late May, right? Maximum. I'm hoping it doesn't go into June. It might, but I think it'll be maximum late May, right? So expect it around then. I don't think we're getting it done by April. I'd be shocked. I might, but I'd be shocked, right? I don't think it'll be April. I think we're going to go right into May with it. But yeah, if you're here for that, I'll see you all then. And, if you're also interested in the other stuff, like I mentioned, I'll see you all next week with either, the podcast episode or with another highlight video, and also a card for the Left 4 Dead 2 video. If you haven't seen it, just there it is. Enjoy. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I just wanted to express my thoughts on this series. And like I said, there's another one that I might go into. I don't know if I'll do that before the Arc 7 video. I might, just for the sake of, kind of pushing something to entertain you all out. I might. But for now, that's it. Enjoy. And see you all in the next video.